I'd like to call the Tuesday, June 4th, 2019 Town of Rockport Board of Selectmen's meeting to order. If everyone could please rise and join me for a Pledge of Allegiance and moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Everyone okay back there? Okay. I think, are there amended agendas in the back, Mitch? Okay, just so everyone knows, we've had to make a few changes to the agenda this evening we're having some quorum and some timing issues. So Carl Engel, we're going to do his reappointment interview, I believe on the 18th, he's asked. And then we're rescheduling Phil Crotty's interview, which is a reappointment, and Building Study Committee. We all want to be here and 100% for that, so we're going to do that very soon as well. The 18th, perfect, okay. Next, we will have public comment period. I know we are getting a really quick, right after public comment, a quick briefing from Joe Parisi, DPW Director, and commissioners, but that is not, that's not going to be like a full open discussion. That's just a brief board commissioner director discussion, and then you guys have a posted meeting when? On the 12th?
We have the meeting on the 12th. It isn't yet posted, but we'll put it on the agenda for the 12th.
Great. So I would ask if anyone has a specific DPW question, they could ask it during public comment, and then if it gets addressed during your remarks, fine. If it doesn't, then they're welcome to go to your meeting on the 12th. But this isn't like a posted workshop, and obviously we need to appropriately stick to our agenda. Does that make sense? Great, okay. So, public comment period? Toby? I think the light is green on that microphone. Can you just double check for me?
Yeah.
Great,
Becca's
thanks.
saying it is.
Okay. Great, all set.
Toby Arsenian, 95 Granite Street. 2 meetings ago, that's 4 weeks, in public comment period, I spoke about my concerns about the Springtown meeting. My concerns being about Article 5. The moderator chose to allow 2 different people to add to the sums that the Finance Committee had
We remember you speaking about
had
it.
proposed.
Yep.
I asked your board if you would summon or invite the moderator, the Finance Committee, and the Government and Bylaw Committee and decide how you're going to deal with such occurrences. I don't think that simply assuming that such things are not going to happen and are harmless is a reasonable course to take. And having made the suggestion and have the sense to phrase it as a question, I would like a response. I also asked your board if you would ask Mr. Visnick, I've asked him directly, if he would put it in the next town meeting booklet to explain to people what they can do in the way of adding sums to articles and also to explain how it works on the amendments that anyway, I copied your board on the letter that I sent to Mr. Visnick. It really was as much to your board, the Finance Committee, the Government and Bylaw Committee, as it was to Mr. Visnick. Mr. Visnick did not respond to it. Did you have a chance to read that letter?
I've read part of the letter, personally.
Yeah, I read it.
Yeah.
I see. And do I get any response to my request that you summon or invite those people and discuss what happened at the town meeting?
Well, we always have a meeting with them before the next town meeting, so I'd be happy to discuss it then, but which we could just add it to the agenda for when we meet.
Yes,
with them
would you
before the
please
next
do
town
that?
meeting. Sure,
Thank you.
happy to. And honestly, if there's something that you really want added to the voters booklet, I think that's something that at that meeting you should ask Bob directly. But you could do that when he comes in to meet with us.
I have.
Great. Okay. Great. Debbie? Sure.
Deborah Walter, 47 South Street, Rockport. Hi, everyone.
Nice to see you.
Hi, Sarah. So I'm here representing the Rockport Legion Band. As many of you know, the Rockport Legion Band is the town's community band. We've been the town band since 1932. We rehearse every Thursday year-round, and we have summer concerts in the months of July and August. We're kind of lumped in with the community community development in the town budget. So we are funded mostly by the town. So I want to just first of all thank the town and the community for your support for all of these many, many years. Without it, we're all volunteers. We couldn't do what we do for the community, and we love what we do. I wrote some notes to expedite this. My colleague from Cape Ann Fins is not here tonight, so I'm just going to go forward with my notes. Okay. We're entering our 86th summer season this year. We formed in 1932 with 32 original members under the direction of Ernest Nemi. Today, Jason Howard conducts the 30 band members year-round and Sunday evenings in July and August at the bandstand. We're a nonprofit organization. We've performed at Harvest Fest, Motif Number 1 Day, 4th of July, at the bonfire, Christmas concerts every year, and the Cape Ann nursing homes many, many times a year. We enjoy and encourage new members to join, especially our local youth. Incentives for students include community service hours and a scholarship for graduating seniors who have performed with us. This year, I will be delighted to once again present our Harrison Fears Scholarship to a noteworthy graduating senior on Friday night. On August 4th, we'll be excited to feature Rockport High School top vocalist Rhiannon Hurst, and August 11th, we'll perform a joint concert with the Cregan-Moore Pipes and Drums from New Hampshire. That's always a big hit. This brings me to our biggest project thus far. On July 21st, the Rockport Legion Band will pay tribute to its original members, the majority from Finnish homes. As some of you may know, the band played at the Community House until 1938, when the bandstand was constructed of Cape Ann materials under the direction of Ernie Nelson, John Hootinen, and John Anderson. Most of the Finnish charter members remained active into the 50s and 60s. Sunday concerts in those days included works by Finnish-American composers, quartets playing familiar Finnish folk tunes, and instrumental soloists like Sylvester Ahola, Jacob Knutinen, and the Niemi sisters. Our project will introduce and educate the diverse audience of all ages about earliest 20th century Rockport and Finns on Cape Ann, the origins of the community band in the Finn halls, the history of the Rockport Legion Band, and biographical information about the charter members. We have invited brass band founder Paul Nemisto from Minnesota to be our guest conductor. Conductor Nemisto has played in brass bands for decades. He conducts a brass band that he formed in Minnesota. Guest conducts, as he will here. He is also an author of a book about Finnish brass bands in the Midwest, and is a retired professor of music at St. Olaf College in Minnesota, where he lives. Our concert will be video recorded by 1623 Studios for broadcast on local cable and for placement in local libraries, museums, and the Finnish American Heritage Center in Hancock, Michigan. We've done exhaustive work in preparing for this. I have sheets. You probably don't want to see them, but they're very, very thorough. We have specific tasks assigned to various members of the Cape Ann Finns organization, to the Rockport Legion Band. I'm the president of the Rockport Legion Band. I've been a member for over 30 decades and the president since 2008. So we've been distributing posters. We've got ads in the Times, the Beacon, the Finnish American Reporter, social media, a feature article in the July 18th Gloucester Daily Times, and ad nauseum. We have worked with Lieutenant Schmink at the Rockport Police Department to address any safety concerns. I believe that we will have a detail in place. We expect a larger crowd than normal. There may be 30 people, there may be 300, but we need to plan for more. The plans are to potentially, and I believe this is going to happen, make Beach Street one way, block off streets if necessary. Cape Ann Finns alone has over 250 members, so even if just they show up with a relative and friend, we'll have a lot more than we expect. We've got some grant money, and the contingency plan is, in case of bad weather, the concert will be relocated to the Rockport High School auditorium. So I've also met with Mike Montgomery, who's on the IT department at the Rockport High School, so that's going to be a seamless transition if, in fact, we have bad weather. So I just wanted to let you know what's going on with the band.
Great, that's
We're,
exciting.
Yeah.
we're looking forward to a really great summer. I have posters here.
Great.
Would it be possible to maybe put a poster here in Town Hall or the annex?
Town clerk is the person to check with. She
All right.
allows posters on the double doors
Cool.
upstairs.
All right.
Yeah,
Great.
what a nice poster.
Yeah, they're very professionally done, and we're sponsored by the Cape Ann Fans and the Lanesville Community Center.
Great,
as
and then
well.
if you share it with me on Facebook,
We
I'm
would
happy
love
to
it if
share
you
it
guys
as
would
well.
share it on,
Sure.
on your social media
Happy to.
platforms as well. Rockport Legion Band is on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. See your
Okay.
posts. Great.
All right, if you'd, any questions?
Any questions?
I'm good.
No,
Okay.
great, thanks so much. Best of luck this summer.
What time?
Great. Oh, what time is it?
What time?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock.
All concerts are at 7 o'clock.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much. Look forward to seeing
Yeah,
you.
that
Nice
would be
to see
great.
you.
Thank you.
Great.
Yes, my name is Patricia Pierce, 35 Broadway. I'm here because I've been witnessing so many dead trees in Rockport, and I'm really very worried that when you plant a tree, you cannot get a huge tree without having a lot of time go by. And our environment is deteriorating. I would like to actually have you asked to make an effort to form a committee of some sort, not just to determine what's causing it, but also to identify a major polluter, which is the Seabrook reactor. And I know I'm going to be unpopular, but they discharge their operating gases every day since 1990, and the gases travel in hot plumes over Ipswich Bay, depending on the wind, and they cool and drop over temperature interfaces and topographic interfaces. So if you drive up Woodbury Lane, the road that goes up by Woodbury Creek, you'll see there are just trees with stumps in the air. They have no branches left at all. And that would be a first interface for a plume coming from Seabrook. This is not just Rockport. This is Manchester, Hamilton, Beverly, Gloucester. But I think we are the first edge facing the reactor. So I would like to see Rockport join other communities in closing the reactor. Pilgrim just closed this week. The damage is done. I have research, which I'll give you copies of, from Stirling University in Scotland, and a German paper and also a Serbian paper on how fallout kills chlorophyll.
Okay.
The fallout gets into the roots, into the metabolism of the tree, and it stops photosynthesis. So this is a basic problem, and I'm just asking you to consider what could be done and to form some kind of committee to study the problem.
Okay, thank you. And please send that information along to the office if you'd
Yes,
like,
I will.
and they'll get us copies of it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment? Okay. Commissioners, Joe, you guys want to come to the table? You look like you've been traveling. No, actually. Maybe travel's good for you. You three are quiet. No. Okay, so, I mean, let's just cut to the chase, right? So everyone in town is clearly freaking out about the water ban, but they call and complain to us, not you in general, because people call and complain to us about everything. So, I think I asked Mitch, and I think you guys were working on like kind of a frequently asked questions sheet that we can share. I think that would be really helpful, because part of it is that people just don't, understand kind of the issues, why we have a water ban, how long it has to be. And then I know I had some concerns with that the ban itself seems to be really dated. So I was wondering if we could talk about like kind of flexibility kind of for today's day and age. Go ahead. I'll just turn it
Okay,
over to you.
Well, there is information out there. There's information on the town website. There's information on the DPW website. There's information on Facebook.
Just
There was
the one-
also
the
an
one
article.
pager,
There was
right.
also an article in the paper about
Right.
this.
Right.
So it's not as though we haven't tried to inform the public, but
I think people
think
were
that-
well informed that there is a water ban, but I think beyond that,
okay.
like the way that the one pager reads, there was a major fail, which there was. But
Right.
the way it reads is it could be lifted. Somebody said to me, "Oh, like will it be a week or two?" Just because it's kind of
Yeah,
open-ended with what
Okay.
it says.
So the issue is that we had a failure of the filtration system at one of the filtering plants. And it has basically reduced our capacity by 50%, our filtering capacity by 50%. There are two big filter beds in the DAF plant, which is the one we use to filter water from Carlson's. And both of the filter beds are damaged, but one is damaged to the point where we really can't use it. So what we're going to do is to repair that while we're still using the other filter bed. But it basically takes our filtering capacity for the one plant down 50%. Our concern was that that might, given the big increase in demand for water over the summer, that we might not be able to meet the demand for water given our decreased filtering capacity, and that it would make sense to put a water ban in place while the construction occurred, at least over the summer. The expectation was that we could get the construction done. I'm not sure that we will be done by the end of the summer, but I think our expectation is that by the end of the summer, the demand for water, because so many people are only here for the summer, the demand for water will go down and we won't need the restrictions in place, even if we don't have the construction finished by then. So the ban is basically for the summer, should come off in the fall. We have heard also complaints about it and concerns about it, and we're open to revisiting the way the restrictions would work. But I think we're committed to the idea that we do need a water ban in place. The only other option would be to not have a water ban and then presumably rely on Gloucester for its water, but that requires all sorts of DEP work to be done. And I'm not sure the people of Rockport are going to be happy with Gloucester water because they use a different method, and their water, frankly, is going to taste funny to Rockport people. So that's kind of where we are, I think. I don't know what other specific questions you might have about it.
I have, if I may. So I know in the past when we've had a water ban, it did allow for an hour of watering before a certain hour in the morning and after like 6 p.m. at night. Is that not the case now?
Like that would be super helpful, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just at
So
some,
there were different levels of water bans
Yeah.
that we could choose from. We chose one of the more restrictive ones.
Right.
And the one we chose is the one that only allows watering between 5 and 8 in the
Okay.
evening, so not in the morning. But, and there are some reasons for keeping it only in the evening, because if you keep it in the evening, it means we've had all day to fill up the standpipes and the water towers. And it's probably easier for the police to enforce driving around to see during the day if anyone is watering. They know if watering can only occur during those hours. But I mean, we're open to the idea of, changing the hours or changing some of the restrictions on it. I mean, for instance, one of the things of the water ban that we put in place says that you can run a watering hose for an hour if you're a resident. But frankly, I think, it's fine if you're also a business using a watering hose for an hour a day as well. And, and we frankly don't really care what it's used for. It says you can't wash your car or wash, your boat or something like that. But if you're running it for an hour, whether you're watering your garden or washing something, also probably doesn't really matter so much. So we're open to adjusting some of the wording on this, and we will be having a public meeting soon where we can do that.
Cool.
That
I think
sounds
that would be
good.
so helpful.
Yeah.
Just more in tune with like today's day. Like, for example, we have we have like vegetable gardens that we eat out of all summer, but like the key to the vegetable gardens is watering them first thing in the morning. You know what I mean? And when like you work at, a lot, I think that if it were something where you still are only allowed an hour, whether it be between, 6 and 8 in the morning and 5 or something like that, just more reasonable. And then I think, like you said, it's really the amount of water that's being used, not what it's being used for. I
Right.
feel like it could just be tweaked to be more.
Yeah.
Are you
with, like,
looking at
today's
making
day.
the changes for just this water ban, or as a blanket policy change going forward as well?
I think just for this water ban, and then we'll review the next time. If we have to have a water ban again, we'll consider changing at that point. But I think, we want to try to, because we're talking about, the summer and it's for a specific reason. I mean, another thing we've thought about is the fact that, we don't have a shortage of raw water. We just have a shortage of finished water. And if people need raw water to water gardens or to wash things, it might be possible for us to make that available somehow, either over at Flatledge or up at the water treatment plant. But we also have some concerns with that as well, whether DEP would actually allow that. We don't know. So, and how that might work. So we have some research to do to figure that out. But-
Just so people understand, can you just explain very briefly the difference with raw water and finished water? So people
Sure, raw
understand.
water is water that's like in a creek or in a quarry right now, and you can't drink it.
Rainwater.
So it would go
but-
directly from there to the system? Is that how it would work?
So basically, I mean, if,
No, you'd have to
but
go
if you
get
wanted
it.
to
You'd have to-
water
you'd have to go
your,
get
your
it.
vegetables with it, it'd be
Come get a
great.
bucket.
Your vegetables don't care that it's coming out of the quarry, right?
Right. Yeah.
And if you wanted to wash your car with it, again, it'd be fine.
We're actually watering flowers at Millbrook Meadow that we have planted with the stream water.
Right.
So we have a bucket underneath the spillway, and we're pumping out of that bucket, and so I think that's possible if it's convenient, but it's obviously raw water is difficult. We can't transport it in pipes to homes or things like that. It's something that you have to put in a bucket somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think whatever we can do to like adjust the ban to like meet the needs of like current life residents, that I think we've encouraged people over the years to have gardens and be more green and grow you know what I mean? And, most people now wash their own cars, like I don't really go to a car wash, but you know what I mean? But that type of thing, that if it really is just the amount of water, and I think if we're just honest with people, like, listen, it was a major fail. We all have to work together to conserve water
Right.
and just kind of tweak the restrictions. I think that could go a really long way.
Yeah.
This came up as a big concern at the Rockport division of the chamber, and you and I had discussed it, and the innkeepers had asked, that they want to have the ability just to be able to top off pools.
Right.
And I reached out to you, and I know that's part of what we're looking at as part of that wholesale change potentially.
Right.
So whatever we can do to help them in town, that would be great.
Yeah, and then, so you guys are and also, I know there are some like odd type business, issues that come up. Is the best thing to do to send people to I know that people seem to think that like Rockport stuff is a great place to get a town question answered, but maybe going to the source of the policies and the people that can actually help with your problem is a better solution. So should we kind of direct people to you guys or your
Yes, you
meetings?
should. I mean,
Yeah.
we see the questions on Rockport stuff,
Yeah.
but frankly, we don't want to jump in there.
No, I'm
and
with you.
get-
Don't blame me.
100%. We're all in the same boat,
Executed.
no
Yeah.
pun intended.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, and I keep trying to tell people, like, we are trying to be resident and business friendly. This is not by choice that the ban is happening. And,
Right.
and a lot of these are issues that maybe 5, 10, 20 years ago didn't come up when there was a water ban.
Right, and it's unusual because it has nothing to do with the amount of raw water that we've
Right.
got.
Right.
Right.
Makes it even more difficult when we've had so much rain, and people saying, we've had all this rain, how come we're on
Yeah.
the water bans?
Yeah.
But your meeting is on the 12th Is that
Yeah.
correct? And is that where you, is on, at that meeting, will you be discussing these things if people do want to be?
Well, I mean, it's possible that we could have a meeting before then, and just a one-item agenda meeting, you know, if.
That would be
if we-
great. No pressure.
Right.
No water pressure.
No water pressure. Ruth said.
But I mean, we have some things we need to research, so we need to talk to DEP, we need
Yeah.
to look at what the options are, and then we
Yeah.
need to figure out how we're gonna communicate all this, to
Great.
the town,
Yeah,
so.
and we're happy to
Yeah.
help communicate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank
I
you.
know it's
Thank you.
complicated.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we're gonna meet soon, just for like a quarterly.
I want to, yes, you'll see them for, after the building study committee for a facility
Oh, cool.
discussion.
Great.
Okay.
So,
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
Thanks.
much. Good to see you. Oh, next we have interview and appointment of the Assistant Chief of Police and Director of Emergency Services. So now we have the chief here. Good evening. Good evening, Lieutenant.
probably sometime.
Mitch, do you want to give an intro to this, or should we just let the chief?
Sure, so I'll jump to the chief for the majority of it, but on the emergency services piece, this is the second phase of the division-level directors that we've worked to establish and that was approved in the budget process. So it'll be assuming responsibility and oversight for our fire, forest fire, animal control, harbor master, and emergency management. So again, as we discussed throughout the budget process, this is in place of, this and the director of finance are in place of a assistant town administrator, and it presents, at this point, an approximate $40,000 salary savings for us to be able to have 2 division directors as stipends to those individuals who have full-time positions with us already. We certainly think that this is a good thing for us, a good direction to go in. It will allow, similar to the role I had as the assistant TA, it'll be a bit more in the weeds with some of the issues as they come up, which will allow me to step back from some of that and look at some of the larger scale issues that we have sitting before us.
Great.
I think it'll be a good fit for that.
Yeah.
So.
And I mean, I'm not sure if others agree, but in my opinion, so far, the Director of Finance position has been
Oh,
it's been
really,
excellent,
especially
yeah.
through the budget
Huge.
process,
Excellent.
One of my
It's
best
been
recommendations to the board.
hugely
Yeah,
successful.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Great. Okay, turn it over to you, Chief.
Okay, so this is an exciting time for the police department. I've been here just over 4 years, and it's been 4 years of kind of rebuilding. We've had officers come in, officers go. We've got some really good folks coming in. We've had some supervisors retire. We've got made some promotions from within. We have a very young, and along with youth, many times comes inexperience. So we have a very young and inexperienced department. Just to put that into some context, coming into this coming fall, we'll have 12 full-time officers, which is what we're budgeted for. We have 2 vacancies currently, but we'll be filling those through the fall. 7 of those 12 officers will have less than 3 years of policing experience. With 4 of the 7, we'll have less than a year.
Wow.
We have a lieutenant's position and 3 sergeants. The person that we just put into the provisional lieutenant position has 10 years of experience as a supervisor. Our other 3 sergeants, 2 of them have just over 2 years and 1 has less than 6 months. So we have, although we have some very good officers and very good supervisors, we still need to mentor and engage in succession planning for the police department, and along with that goes a lot of training. So this appointment for assistant chief really speaks to that, because it elevates the position for Lieutenant Schmink to focus on some internal issues, larger scale, but also allow him to bring some of his skills that he's developed over the years to the town and help with some of these other departments, and build some foundational success there as well. It also gives us the opportunity to put Sergeant Marino, who's going to be a provisional lieutenant for us, and he's also taking the lieutenant's exam, into a position as an off-hours commander. He'll be working in the evening, supervising a majority of our inexperienced officers, because we're on a bid shift system where you bid based on your seniority. And believe it or not, most senior officers don't want to work midnights, as you can well imagine. We also have some of our junior supervisors working those off hours. So I'm really just looking down the road to make sure that we get people in these positions and get them some experience and some training. So we're looking 2, 3, 4 years down the road. For when we have some retirements, we have people that can step into those roles as supervisors in our department and continue the good work that we've worked so hard over the last 4+ years on. So that's really what this position is about. It doesn't increase the staffing of the department by any number. We still have the same amount of officers in the department. It doesn't take anybody else off the road. We still have the same amount of officers assigned to the road because Lieutenant Marino will actually be part of the minimum staffing on the evening shift, so he's considered part of minimum staffing, so we're not withdrawing any resources from the street, if you will. And it's a very mild budget adjustment, and to be quite honest, based on the budget that was approved for us for FY20, I have no concerns about making these positions fit within our budget. So for us, it's really a win-win. It gives opportunity internally in a department as small as ours, many times where there are not a lot of opportunities. So it keeps people engaged, it keeps people interested, job enlargement, job enrichment for folks. So it's really a home run on many levels for us. Be happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions?
Yeah, I'll jump in.
Sure.
Congratulations, first of all, prematurely, but I think it's a great move for the town and the way we approach this and the outlook we have for law enforcement. So I think it's fantastic. I want to get into something that the chief said real quick, which is about the mentoring side of things. By elevating the position, how does that explain the dynamic of how that works from a training standpoint and how you have a younger force, which is great because hopefully we can keep and retain these people, and by that mentoring standard will show them their value and how they can move forward and progress through the department. If you could just speak to that, I think that would be great.
You want to take that?
Sure. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to sit before you and expand upon some of these different positions and goals. It's definitely going to be a challenge in both positions. One of them would be the training aspect. So that's a good question. I've oversaw the training for a long time. From reserve officer, I was in charge of training. Patrolman, sergeant, to lieutenant. With the chief's vision internally with a structure moving forward, we're going to be able to push a lot of those duties and responsibilities down and also expose a lot of those officers that are coming up. The younger officers, the veteran officers are going to remain engaged, and the commanders or the shift supervisors are also going to receive direct oversight 24 hours. So they're going to still have that type of engagement with this type of move. I'll be bringing in and exposing Lieutenant Marino to a lot of different aspects of scheduling and training and all of the different special events and emergency services aspect of operations within the police department that's never been done before, and exposing him to different administrative levels with the town administrator and the chief of police that he's never had before. And then he's able to turn around and mentor a lot of these younger sergeants and keep engaged the veteran sergeants before they leave.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be my role.
Great. Thank you.
I agree, it's a home run. I think it will be great for us to kind of integrate all the services that you've been talking about, Mish, and provide more of an integrated view across all of those areas of harbor master, emergency management, and so forth. So I think it's only a plus for the town, and we're thrilled that you're stepping up. So thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm still not sure he's really clear on what he's getting himself into.
Don't talk about that now.
It'll be baptism
Save
by
that.
fire, so you'll be all set.
I'm re-energized. I'm re-energized and looking forward to the challenge. I realize that it definitely presents a lot of challenges, but I think that we have a strong foundation that I want to build upon the strengths of all the emergency services and provide the best possible resource available to all the citizens by coordinating, helping, assisting,
Yep.
and implementing a lot of different positive national best practices that I'm pretty familiar with.
Excellent.
I have a question. So do you think you're going to be like splitting your time between the two different roles? I mean, because, they're pretty different. and, you know, the police department, you're not going to backfill the sergeant going to lieutenant?
Correct.
Okay. So, I mean, I would think that a lot of your time is going to be spent with the emergency services department because that's a whole new area of bringing all of those together and having someone overseeing that. So I think that a big chunk of your time is going to be doing that. Do you think it's 50-50 or 25-75, or what do you?
So, as you know, we've known each other a long time. I've grown quite a bit within my roles. And I've worn quite a bit of hats within the town and taken on quite a bit of challenges. And I've recognized exactly what you've said, and I've worked with the chief and Mitch on, first of all, it's acting and treating different, it's definitely a different organizational structure in each of these different areas. So I'm being exposed to the human resource aspect of dealing with management. I went to the FBI Academy and learned about, the organizational structures and management of all size organizations. So there's that aspect. So I have to be able to split that internally as well as push it out to the personnel that I'm dealing with. As far as time-wise, I'll be doing whatever these two gentlemen allow me to do. So I will be,
Be careful
I'm going to be probably, discussing how that's going to be split. And I imagine it's going to be very fluid because there's going to be different needs at different times. And we've actually put a lot of thought and effort into that, as I know you're aware, on how we're going to have that play out moving forward. But we are prepared for it, and it is going to be another challenge.
That's a great question. That was probably one of the questions that we tossed around the most, which is, and really the answer is there is no definitive line as to, the assistant chief is going to be with us at the police department 4 days this week, and he's going to devote 1 day to emergency services. There may be the entire week he's at the police department because of what we have going on. There may be nothing going on of significance, and he needs time to work on his director of emergency services role, and we're going to provide him that opportunity to do that. Because the goal here is we want this to succeed, because this is a town effort. And so we will make it succeed, but we have no definitive schedule ironed out yet. I think it's going to be a little fluid, certainly in the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay.
I also just want to take a moment to thank both the chief and Mitch for kind of making this come to reality. I know that it's been kind of talked about for several years now and kind of grown and the brainstorm a long time ago, but it takes a lot of effort. I think people don't realize how much effort to kind of take a step back from the day-to-day happenings and management and operations and kind of think big picture, like what's best for the town in the future. And this is a huge step in doing that. I mean, honestly, just hearing you talk about kind of training Marino going forward and kind of having three positions. We talk a lot here about, hiring the position, not the person, as much as we like all of you, but, that it's important to build the positions properly and staff them properly. But to just add a third kind of leadership for the town at a cost savings, which is like a win-win, and then adding in the personalities who we know are outstanding already is just going to be so successful. I'm so excited that this is actually happening. So thank you both for making it.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if I didn't say Mark is going to make this easy for us because he has the desire, as long as I keep him well fed, he will do everything that we need to do to make this a success. So this is the right time. He's certainly the right person. He's earned the opportunity. He represents the department extremely well, and I know he's going to bring those same talents to these other departments and make everybody proud. So I'm very happy to work with him on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I love that this is going to tie so often when something happens in town, like we hear, when there's, an emergency or a special situation, like we hear kind of the nuts and bolts of it, but I think this is going to tie so many different aspects together. And being an oceanfront town with, harbor master, police, volunteer fire department, ambulance, like having kind of that all wrapped tightly and one person kind of overseeing the operations and standardizing some things is going to be just, it's exciting. The things that excite us, right?
mean, the one question that I ask with this and almost anything else is it in the best interest of the town? And without a doubt, this absolutely ties up a lot of stuff and does make police life for you folks better, because it gives it gives great pathways for different people and shows opportunity, but also provides the leadership that's necessary in that department, and that's definitely there now. So thank you.
Yeah, not sure if Mark has read all 10 pages of these job descriptions.
Yes.
Great. Any other questions for us? Any other questions or comments from the board?
No,
Okay,
I'm good. Thank you.
we have a motion, right, for this?
Yes. Yep.
Would someone like to make the motion now?
Yes, I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Mark Schmink to the individual positions of Assistant Chief of Police and Director of Emergency Services, subject to successful contract negotiations.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay.
I have to abstain.
Ruth is going to abstain. All those, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
There's going to be an official ceremony on June 27th at 5 o'clock at the library.
Yes.
But until then, he gets to wear it.
To celebrate that and Mitch's appointment
And Mitch's
as
appointment to town
permanent town
administrator.
administrator. Yes.
Congratulations. Well deserved.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure. Yeah, thank you very much.
Oh, it's 10 of. Okay. Is Thomas Eaton here?
Mr. Eaton had to step out. He
Okay.
had another commitment, so
Okay.
we'll move it along. It's been
Okay.
the third time on, so this may be. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, I unfortunately have to leave shortly to deal with an issue with my kids. So, would it be okay if we did Lorraine's? I think that will be brief. And then, would you guys mind if we just, before I left, I would like 4 of us to vote on the ratification of the town administrator's contract? Okay, just because I always like for that to be unanimous, but I know Paul is away tonight. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Lorraine.
Is there a motion for, yes, there is.
Yep. I move that the board reappoint Lorraine Wessel to the Finance Committee for a term to expire on May 1st, 2022.
Second?
Motion has been made and seconded. Don't let 2022 scare you, Lorraine.
I like that you
I
came
think she can
back.
handle it.
I'm pleased to return. Thank you.
Good.
I just want to say thank you for, I think you have done an excellent job, like stepping in at what was like a challenging time. You held your head high, and honestly, I could not be happier kind of with the direction that the finance committee is going and just how it's operating, like transparent. Everyone is like respectful and responsible. That's kind of all I have to say about it. Other people, questions?
No,
for
I
Lorraine?
totally agree. I think, you stepped in at a time that was tough, right in the middle of budget season, and really took control and organized and got everything going together with Mitch and Carrie and the rest of the committee. So thank you for doing that. And I think the proof was in the town meeting and how well that budget discussion went. So congratulations on pulling that off, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And especially with, I'm sorry.
No, please, go ahead.
With new members. I mean, that was a big thing to just before town meeting to start a new finance committee with 2 people returning and then all the others new and then one other coming back. But I mean, that's been really hard, and you've done a great job, Lorraine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just so people know at home, how many vacancies do you have now?
I think it's 2. Do we have 2? Yeah. Mhm.
And we're looking to fill those, of course.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Do you have anybody in the pipeline yet?
There's a few people that have talked about it, that possibly they may come back. And I know they've spoken to Mitch too, and I have to agree that, I'm pleased to be back, and I'm very pleased with the position of Carrie as the Director of Finance in conjunction with Mitch. It's just complements what I have to do, and I couldn't do it without them. It's been wonderful.
Good.
So,
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, just so people, I know that, for several years we had, really dedicated volunteers on the finance committee, but they were doing kind of the heavy lifting. They were having the spreadsheets and stuff were like on personal computers and at home, and now everything, you guys are supported by the director of finance, who
Right.
kind of has the whole thing in the budget software that the town paid tens of thousands of dollars for.
Right.
But even the paper copy of the budget that we received was like, well, A, balanced, but B, easy to understand. Questions were easy to see, and it made for, one of the smoothest town meetings yet with regards to the budget. So,
And I just think it's much more appropriate,
yes.
the way it's being done now.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I'm
definitely.
very happy.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
please echo our sentiments to your whole.
I will do
committee,
that, yes.
Because I know it's a group effort.
Lauren, do you have, are there any changes you plan to make? Any updates, anything going on, like what's on the horizon?
On the horizon, actually, the compensation for the selectmen is on the agenda.
That wasn't a setup, I promise.
I know, that's
had
one of the
no
bigger
idea.
things that we have coming. Everything else is pretty standard at this moment. We do have, different things that we're going to be discussing, but that's probably on the next week, June 10th agenda, so we'll be talking about that.
And you guys meet all the time. Your meetings
Yes.
are always posted, riveting,
Yes.
if
Mhm.
anyone. I know I see some budget questions on Facebook. I'm going to start to tell people when you guys are meeting so they can,
Just come to
and
the
ask
meeting.
questions.
Right.
Because it's
Come
so
and ask.
easy to understand. If you
And there's
go
2
ask
openings,
questions.
Yeah.
And there are 2
Right.
openings, yeah.
They could learn a lot,
Yeah.
maybe
A
want to
few
join.
people recently have told me as soon as they retire, they're going to, so
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's keeping them from retiring,
Right.
but
right.
They're gonna keep working.
Exactly. No, and we have some great new people. I mean, there are a lot of new people. There's some
Yeah.
returning members, but they're all very well qualified,
Yep.
very enthusiastic. They attend all the meetings and are helping to bring the finance committee in the right direction. So it's been nice.
Great.
Mhm.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And this is a reappointment, so we can vote tonight.
Mhm.
Any further questions?
None.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Great.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank
Lorraine.
you very
Nice to
much.
see you.
Thanks.
Can would you guys mind if we did the contract? And then I'll
Yeah.
leave you to, I think with 3 of you, you can
Yeah.
kind of bust through the rest of it.
My head may hit the
I
table
know,
at some
Denise
point.
just got off a plane, so she's, okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, there is.
J6.
Okay.
It's on page 2.
I move that the Board of Selectmen approve and sign an employment contract with Mitchell R. Vieira for the position of Town Administrator from June 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2024.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made, seconded. Just as a briefing, I know the contract does become public document once the selectmen voted in, but just, we had, the selectmen met, was it just once in executive session? Maybe twice?
I think once.
Once, I think it was just
Yeah.
once.
Yeah,
And,
just once.
we had a very, very successful, easy negotiation.
Yep.
And we are thrilled that Mitch has agreed to a 5-year contract with the town, which will keep him here for at least 5 years. I couldn't be any happier.
Yep,
Completely
absolutely.
agree.
I
Absolutely.
assume, and
Yep.
I assume that everyone else
Doing a
is
great job.
in agreement, done a great job so far. And as we stated, we got numerous letters of support.
Yep.
and
Unsolicited.
Unsolicited,
absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So, without further ado, any further comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay. The motion carries. Great.
Thank you very much.
Congratulations.
Really
Thank you very
appreciate it.
much. Now get to work. Like,
Yeah,
Same
no more
time we can
loafing
do
around.
Yeah, okay, goodbye.
okay, I have to run. I'm going to turn the rest over to you.
Sure.
Perfect. Thank you very much. I apologize for having to run. My kids are waiting in Gloucester. Hopefully someone's watching them.
Bye, Sarah.
All right, good. Are you here for the whole meeting? I know that there was a...
As I said, until my head hits the table, I've been
Very
up
good.
for
We'll go quick.
20 hours.
All right, we'll get right through it. Let's move on. We'll go right to the approval of minutes of May 21st, 2019. And if you guys would just take whatever motions I have.
I don't have the
Oh,
motion.
I'll
Yeah.
get him here.
Okay,
You want to give her mine?
yep.
I can just use mine. off.
Okay.
Oh, do you have another one, Mitch? I'm going to need one, I'm sorry. Thank you.
So I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the minutes of May 21st, 2019.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Everybody reviewed any changes, additions, subtractions? Everything is good?
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. And we'll go to the Selectmen and Town Administrator updates and liaison reports. Mitch, want to start with you?
Mr. Chair, I'll defer for this evening. I know we're on a time schedule. I'll defer.
Very good. Denise?
My update is the beer in Germany is still excellent. I just got back, landed this morning, so.
That's it?
Yeah,
Just beer?
10 days,
There
yeah.
you go. That works. Hannah would be happy at this point. Ruthie?
Let's see, 2 weeks ago, I went to the Board of Health. A lot of talk on the hepatitis A. That seems to be very well under control. The Board of Health, the state, the town, everyone's done a great job on that. And especially the restaurant did a wonderful job closing the whole thing the whole time just to make sure that everything was safe, didn't want to take any chances. We are looking at, if it happens again, how can we get places up and running quicker by looking at testing them at the hospital, the employees, to see if they've had immunity and doing those kind of things. So because I'm a nurse, I'm working with the hospital and getting a lot of that information for, hopefully, we'll never have this again, but we'll be a little better prepared for it, Board of Health-wise and things like that, since I'm a liaison for that. That's their major thing they've been busy working on. Tonight, I had the privilege of reading the proclamation for DJ Tardif, the Small Business Person of the Year, down at my place at 5 o'clock. That was very nice. He's very happy. It was packed down there. Lots of people. And a wonderful celebration for Small Business Week for the town. And, you know, my friend Buddy Woods was reading the list of people who, when it started with Harold Cooney back in the 1940s. And every person he read, he and I knew, because we both grew up in Rockport. I mean, it's such a wonderful, wonderful community event to recognize the small businesses in town, because that's what makes Rockport. That's make the whole downtown area. And it was just wonderful. So that was a great celebration tonight. It's still going on, I'm sure. And Community Preservation Committee I'm on. They have had several applications dropped. They're not going forward with the one for the bleachers at the ball field. They're not going forward with the ones for the kayak storage. That one has been withdrawn. And also Project Adventure had a application from Gloucester. They were hoping to come to Rockport, and we're looking for a special ramp or tie-up where boats could meet them out in the harbor and bring people on board the adventure. That one has been dropped also. So there are just a few. They're very good applications, and they'll be voting on that in June. So that will be coming up, and hopefully we can get someone from there, maybe Phil Crotty or Aaron, to come and talk about what the projects are for this year before they vote. That's
Great.
it.
That's it. Perfect. Thank you. On my end, on Wednesday with Mitch, I attended the Rockport Division of the Chamber of Commerce meeting at the Inn and Suites, and obviously one of the big topics was the water ban. We kind of gave them the info from there, and we went, and we're trying to see, as Jim said tonight, we're looking at ways to kind of work that so it works for innkeepers and for everybody else in town. So that was one that came out of it. The other was they've just come out with all of their literature. They have like all kinds of stuff between maps and all the stuff that they come out with. Stretches down to, I want to say Virginia, if I remember right. And the Amtrak line. So we have a great presence, and it's being facilitated by the great people, Peter Weber and others at the chamber. So that's a great thing. I was invited to speak to the Long Beach owners, and I went down and spoke to a few of them this past weekend, just about general things, nothing in particular. Just they wanted updates, and they wanted water updates as well. So I talked to them for a little bit about things that are going on as far as initiatives going on with Long Beach, the revetment and the beach nourishment and things that are happening there. And let's see, do I have anything else? I think that covers it except for the warrant. We'll go to Selectman Campbell sign the payroll warrant number 48 totaling $131,556.56. And expense warrant number 48 totaling $406,382.15 on May 29, 2019. Selectman Campbell signed the payroll warrant number 49 totaling $2,176,880.81. And expense warrant number 49 totaling $963,715.63 on June 4th, 2019. And if you could just put that in that folder, that would be great. So that will handle the updates. We'll move on to the, yeah, we have plenty of time. The action list, and the first item up will be the appointment of Kerry O'Donnell as a member of the Historic District Commission.
I move that the Selectmen appoint Kerry O'Donnell as a member of the Historical/Historic District Commission for a term to expire on June 30th, 2022.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Kerry?
We interviewed
Jim?
her
We interviewed her
last time.
Excellent
This
applicant.
Right, this is the appointment, I'm sorry.
Right,
I'm in the interview mode still, so that's fine, sorry. So everything is good, any further discussion?
She was a great catch. I mean, she's a local person, has got really great history in historic, in preservation. Jim wanted to say something. Yep.
Do you want to speak, Jim? If you just come to the microphone, if you could, please.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry I couldn't come for her interview. I was at another meeting, but I just wanted to tell you she's full of great questions, really enthusiastic about learning, and I enjoy teaching it.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's been, there were questions that I wanted answered when I first came, and I didn't have that ability to ask them the way I think the commission runs now, which is free with information and very helpful. And if she's asking, I'm answering. So she is a great member, and the commission's really tight right now. So I think it's one of the best that I've been associated with. So we have good team members, and she's jumping right in. So I'm glad we have her.
Yeah.
And so I have nothing but support for her to come aboard, and I'm glad you know her prior, because I don't.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
she seems like a wonderful person. So.
Yeah, great.
And of course, whatever the board can do to support your efforts, you can, at any time, tell Mitch you want to come in and talk to us, and we can all work together.
Yep, well, I
on
look
whatever
forward to our
solutions we have.
annual update, you know, whenever
Yep.
you guys
Yep.
are ready, I'll come in and maybe have everyone come in if we can, so.
That'd be
Great.
great.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Jim, do you have any other openings on the committee, or is she the last one?
I think right now, we're actually full, but you know, it's somewhat of a burnout committee, so
Yeah.
we're always in motion,
Yeah.
that there's someone who would like to step back, but they always stay on until we have someone.
Yeah.
So we're out for a contractor. That would be the tightest between architects now and people with historic background, realtors. Really would tighten up if we had a contractor.
Yeah, okay.
And so we tried to recruit George Hobbs last night, or his son, so we'll see if that works. But if you hear of
try.
anyone that is in the trades, they would really make that a very, very tight,
Yeah.
a tight committee, all focused in the same direction, so.
Okay.
And Mitch, we are posted on, we have that opening on the town website with all committee. Perfect. Perfect. All right, great. Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Congratulations to Kerry. Now, let's move on to dissolving the Town Administrator Search Committee. I think we found the right candidate, so we're good
Yeah.
with that.
I move that the board dissolve the Town Administrator Search Committee.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Do we need further discussion on this?
None.
I didn't think so. All in
work
favor,
is
say
done.
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. 3-0. Thank you. You're official, Mitch. You can't get out now. Let's go with the Farmers Market wine license for Westport Rivers Vineyards and Winery.
I move that the selectmen approve and sign a farmer's market wine license for Westport Rivers Vineyards and Winery, that's a tongue twister, to sell bottles of their wine at the summer Rockport Farmers Market.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. So who do we have here? Anybody?
I believe they did this last year as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, this is a
It's renewal.
standard. This is,
Yeah.
yeah, this is every year.
Yeah.
No issues with this. Everything is fine. Oh, okay, perfect. All right. Any further discussion on this one?
None.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Let's go with the Elder Abuse Awareness Day on June 13th, 2019.
I move that the board grant the Rockport Police Department and the Council of Aging and Senior Care permission to hold their annual participation in the World Elder Abuse Awareness Day at Five Corners on Thursday, June 13th, from 10 a.m. till 12 noon.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Further discussion on this one? When is, and I see Roger is still on this. When does that change over to our new?
June 30th, the switch.
June
between
30th?
Mary and Roger.
Okay, perfect. And everybody obviously knows you see that. I'm sure, Ruthie, you'll probably be out there for that. Denise, I don't know if you'll be out there for that.
I might be, yeah.
I'll be working, unfortunately, so I can't be there, but it's a great event, and it's usually very well attended, so hopefully everybody can get down there and support the great cause in our community.
Yep. Hopefully Mitch and I will be out there with a banner again.
Yes,
There you
that's
go.
last couple times, yep.
Perfect. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed nay, motion carries. Great. Let's go to the request for sandwich board sign in Barletta Park.
Did you want to do illuminations?
Did I miss, did I miss one? I'm sorry, I
Yep,
had it
yep.
checked on here. I prematurely checked it. Let's go with Illuminations Night on August 10th, 2019. Is there a motion?
I move that the board grant permission for a fireworks display at the end of Granite Pier on Saturday, August 10th, 2019.
Seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded. I don't think we really, I mean, this is standard every year. I saw them selling the,
They're here.
They're here.
That's
Yeah.
it. Do we want to speak? Come on, let's come.
We just want, Tim Collins, 16B South.
Come on over, Tim. Come to the microphone if you can. Come on, plug it. Here's your opportunity to reach thousands and thousands of people.
Tim Collins, 16B South Street. My wife, Susan Collins, 16B South Street. We just want to thank the town for all the support they provide for the illumination night and weekend. I think there's going to be some surprises this year. I think everybody's going to be pretty happy with what's going on. We've got a lot of public support. So I just want to say thank you.
Thank
and,
you.
Look forward to it.
I
Pray
love
for good weather.
surprises.
Yeah,
Love
that's-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Can we legislate that? Yeah.
And no fog.
No fog.
Everything's
Thank
going well
you.
so far, though?
Everything's going well.
Yeah,
Perfect.
great.
Perfect.
Great.
That's great.
So thank you for all
much.
you do.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
I know it gets tough, but you guys do a great job every year, so thank you for that. That's good. All right, let's get right to it. We've heard the motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Now, we can go to the request for sandwich board sign in Barletta Park. One of you two could take that.
Well, maybe we want to hear from them before I read the motion.
Yeah, and here they come.
Do we make the motion and then open the hearing, or?
No,
It's
no
not a
hearing,
hearing.
they can certainly go first. Yep.
Okay.
Well, hi.
Step up, introduce yourself.
My
and
name
tell
is
us a little
Mercy
bit about what you
Duffel,
wanna do.
and this is Francis Silva, and we own Salty's Lobster Dogs and More, 2 Dock Square Weir. We are entering our second year of business here in Rockport, and we're excited to do so. We've been pretty successful so far this year. And just being open a few weeks. That said, our location, if you're familiar with it, 2 Dock Square Rear is just down Stone Barn Lane across from the Visitor Center. And it's really kind of tucked in, and I think sort of a testament that we've had in the last few weeks is that we've had a lot of, when we've had our more signage down since the request to do so. We've had many customers, local and tourists, that have said, "Oh wow, we didn't realize you were back here. It's you should see about getting some signage to see if you can draw some attention." So we are putting in a request to see if we may, during our business hours, display a sandwich board to just have our name and what we offer in terms of lobster rolls, paninis, and hot dogs, and right in front of the first tree, right behind the bench in Barletta Park, so that we might attract a bit more visual attention to seek more business in order to be successful.
Do you still have the sign on the fence?
We have that there, but that can come down if that needs to come down. We haven't been putting it out.
Okay, because that seems, I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty big, and I thought that was a really good sign and, you
Okay.
know, pretty visible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I guess I don't see how a sandwich board would attract any more attention, I guess, and
Well,
also,
You know, we found a lot of people come in, they say they saw the sandwich board sign. This is all day long during the summer, you know.
yeah.
tourists. they don't always look down the side streets. Or just
Sure. No, understood. I
Gives
guess.
them a chance to see what we have to, a little taste of what we have to offer.
Yeah. No, I've eaten there. You have very good things to offer. To my mind, the idea of putting a sign for a private establishment in a public park just seems counter to what the purpose of a public park is. And if we say yes to you guys, who's to say we have to, can deny anybody else? So I prefer to keep a public park public and have you make full use of the other opportunities that you have.
Can I, may
my
I ask one more
perspective.
question? If within that patio space that we have, if you're familiar with that, that is attached to the property at 2 Dock Square, if we were able to get permission from our landlord to move a sandwich board within the parameters of that, or is that in violation of bylaws?
I would say you would need to check with Paul Orlando, he's the sign
Okay.
viewer,
The
he's the
building
one that we
inspector?
rely on to make
Okay.
recommendations, so he'd be the best person to ask for that.
So to contact him directly?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
But that's just my perspective.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel.
Well, the way I feel, I know signs in town are a hot button issue. There's a lot of people that speak about them. Public property being involved in it, I understand that. I love to help businesses. I mean, I want to do everything I can to promote that. We have the discretion to do that. That's why this is in front of us now. Is this something that you're looking to do year after year, or is this just for this season? How long are you looking to do this?
Well,
We-
probably as long as we stay in business, I would think. It's kind of tucked away. It's behind the bench. It's not really accessible by anyone going into the park. There's a big tree hanging over there. And it's only during business hours. We certainly wouldn't leave it up. And it'd be something tasteful. We could get an approval if we need to with whatever sign we have there. We have no problem with that.
I know you're in a tough spot. If this was a one-off, I'd have a little more, I'd be able to support it a little more. But if it's an ongoing thing, I don't think I could, that doesn't rest well with me, and I agree with
If we just did it for the
Denise.
season, would that, to see how it goes?
If it was one, I mean, we have the purview to do that. The problem is that when you start down the road with one, then others follow behind it, and it sets a precedent.
And we wouldn't.
Which this is the problem that I've wrestled with, because we have policies in place that give us the discretion to be able to do things. And if our discretion is to always say no, then why do we need that discretion? So, but I understand your side of it completely, and I get your location. It's tough, it's where you are. Food's fantastic, by the way. I've eaten there myself as well. But also we have to balance that with how does it look for the town, and how, not even for the town, but people, it shouldn't be used in that kind of a respect. So I think that's a little tougher. You talked about the sign somewhere else on a fence. Is that something that could work as well, or potentially as well?
We haven't really explored that much. I mean, to see what we can display. We honestly don't know what we can display. Because if you read the bylaws, you can't display anything. So,
Right.
so I just don't know.
Well,
I
that's
mean,
all.
you
That's
tell
all
us
going to be
what we
looked
can
at
do,
come
right?
this fall, and we're going to be looking at signage, and I encourage you to attend then, and then you can voice your opinions then.
But it's not true that you can't display anything. I mean, you go walk down Bearskin Neck and
They
you
have a
see
lot.
plenty of stores that get an outdoor permit every
Yeah.
year. It's just limited.
Yeah, we see the sandwich boards on Bearskin Neck. What is that?
But
the
they're
same
not
type
in
of permit
public
that we're looking?
parks. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
they're
not in public
area.
parks.
Right.
Well,
That's
it's
the
a-
difference.
It's a road, it's a public road.
So it actually isn't, right in front of those stores, the town doesn't own all the way to the stores.
Yep.
They own, the town owns in the center of the road.
Yeah. I mean, I can see, I would want you to go try the route with the building inspector to see if you could put the sandwich board or something on the patio property to see if that could be seen from there better and not put it in the public park. I have the feeling that if we say yes to this, we're going to get a lot of places like down at the end of Bearskin Neck who people might not know that shops are down there and want boards all over Dock Square of what's down there. And I think another thing right now that is in your favor is that nice little brochure that tells about all the places to eat. That's being passed around that's great. That's got all the restaurants and stuff. If we could just get those out more to every place in every store, that people would grab that and say, because I mean, when I go someplace and I look, look, that kind of place. So let's try to find that on the map and kind of thing. It's a nice little map of Rockport with all the places to eat and stores and stuff. So I would try to see that and maybe come back to us, next year and see how those things have gone and see what we can do later on. But try those first, I would say.
Sure. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
All right.
And the sign on the fence.
Yeah, we'll contact Mr. Orlando and see what he says about that, because we
Yeah.
really just don't know.
Okay.
We
All right.
finally got approval for our overhead sign, so
Yeah.
we
Good job.
contracted to have that taken care of.
Grab your,
Hooray.
we got your approval right here. Yeah, there you go.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Good luck, good food.
Good luck.
Thank you
Yep.
so
Good luck.
much.
Yep.
Thank you.
And
you.
congratulations on year 2.
Yeah,
Thank
great.
you so much. So with no motion, we can just move on from here,
Yep.
correct? Right. Okay, perfect. Let's go to the extended Sunday. Go to the extended Sunday hours at Whistle Stop Market. Is there a motion?
Yep. I move that the Board of Selectmen approve the extended hours for beer and wine sales at Whistle Stop Market for Sundays until 9 p.m. for the summer season, ending on September 30th, 2019.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion?
No.
Yeah, this is good. I mean, it's nice seeing these things progress in the market, and with this will be, the whole store will be open, correct? Not
Yes.
just.
Yes, it will.
The whole store will be open, so that's great.
It will.
I think it's fantastic that that's moving along the way it is. All right, any further discussion on this one?
None.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Looks like you're gonna be out on time, Denise, or at least before you fall asleep out down the end there. A lot of jet lag. Let's go with the annual reappointments to boards, committees, and commissions.
Will we still have the cedar chest?
The outdoor display
Am I-
permit.
And I checked that off because of the other ones.
He's racing ahead.
Yeah, I'm trying to get there. Let's go with that. I saw the outdoor display and I checked it, not looking at that. That's fine. Go ahead, give it a run.
I move that the Board of Selectmen approve and sign an outdoor display permit renewal for Cedar Chest of Bearskin Neck for the 2019 season.
Seconded.
Those have been made and seconded. Everything's in compliance, no issues, no complaints.
No problems that we're aware of.
Everything is good. Perfect. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Now, once again, I'll move on again. The annual reappointments to boards, committees, and commissions, and we're gonna do these individually, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Action Inc., we'll start with that one. Ruth?
I move that the board appoint Roger Lesh as the Action Inc. representative for the term to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Roger's been doing this for so long, and you guys obviously know more than I do, Ruthie, especially you, but Roger does a great job, and we thank him for what he does
He does.
for this.
Yep, and he's on the board, or he was chairman of the board, so he does a great job.
Perfect. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The reappointment of the Beautification Committee.
I move that the Selectmen appoint Stephanie Wolf, Amnon Goldman, Christine Grenier, Christine Lovegren, Heidi Goodwin, Jill Marshall, Martha Finta, Mary Mintz, Mary Zipkovic, Terry Duffy, and Phineas Kelly as members of the Beautification Committee for terms to expire on June 30, 2020.
Seconded. Excuse me.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion?
None.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Annual reappointments to the Board of Fire Engineers.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Kirk Keating as a member of the Board of Fire Engineers for a term to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Thank you to Kirk for what he does. And is there any further discussion on this one? Anybody else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The annual reappointments of the Building Study Committee.
I move that the Selectmen appoint Monica Lawton, Kate Shaw, and Jeffrey Juveler as members of the Building Study Committee for terms to expire on June 30, 2020.
Seconded.
Any further discussion?
With our thanks.
Monica, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. The annual reappointments of Emergency Management Directors.
I move that the board appoint Mark Schmink as Director of Emergency Management and Seth Perry as Deputy Director of Emergency Management for terms to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. The annual reappointment for Forest Fire Warden.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Michael Frontiero as the town's forest fire warden for a term to expire on June 30, 2020.
Seconded.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The annual reappointment of Green Community Task Force.
I move that the board appoint David Perry, Edward Hand Jr., and Bill Tobin as members of the Green Community Task Force for terms to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
So, just a question there,
Sure.
Tom.
So we have on the
Staggered?
for the 18th, one of the items to discuss is the board for the board to opine on how many committees they may wish for
yeah,
somebody to
you're
stay
on
on.
a few committees, aren't you, Tom?
And
Yeah.
you're moving into the
okay.
planning board realm. So
And
that's a
Yeah.
policy
Okay.
decision for the
Got
board
it.
to talk about.
Got it. Okay.
And I apologize, Tom, because I can't even see him back there. He was hiding back there, so there he is. Okay, we voted on this, correct?
Yep.
Okay, good. The annual reappointment of the Memorial Day Parade Committee.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Claire Franklin, Kendra Daigle, Darlene Trembore, and Gail Zeman as members of the Memorial Day Parade Committee for terms to expire on June 30, 2020.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded for a discussion here. They did a great job this year, as
Yeah, I was
always.
sorry to miss it.
Absolutely fantastic. Always moving. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The annual reappointments of the Millbrook Meadow Committee.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Sam Colburn, Shannon Mason, Shameen Blanchard, Barbara Sparks, Marcia Lombardo, Stephanie Wolf, Aileen Morrissey, Laura Hallowell, and Richard Lorigan as members of the Millbrook Meadow Committee for terms to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? We have to welcome one more member, and I'm not technically a member, but Millie. Millie is now down at the park, so
Yes.
that's a great thing. Millie the whale is down there. And
It is.
It's
Looks
beautiful.
great if you haven't seen it. It's
Yeah.
certainly
It's
worth taking a
beautiful.
look at it. And I know Ruth provided the name, so that's certainly a great great honor.
Yeah, Millie's down there, so maybe we can make Millie an honorary member somehow.
Yes.
That's great. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Annual reappointments of Open Space and Recreation Committee.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Lawrence Neal, Stephanie Cunningham, and Rob Claypole as members of the Open Space and Recreation Committee for terms to expire on June 30, 2020.
Seconded.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The annual reappointment of Traffic and Parking Committee.
I move that the board appoint Nancy Kearns and Jim Ugoni as members of the Traffic and Parking Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Annual reappointments of Zoning Board of Appeals Associate Members.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Frederick Frithson as an associate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Further discussion?
Seconded.
Oh, thank you. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Annual reappointment of Zoning Board of Appeals Zoning Administrator.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Peter Burkholz and Charles Christopher as zoning administrators for the Zoning Board of Appeals for terms to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Annual reappointment of Animal Dog Control.
I move that the Board appoint Kevin St. Peter as the Animal Dog Control Officer for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Seconded.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Annual reappointment of Poet Laureate.
I move that the Selectmen appoint Sharon Chase as Poet Laureate for a term to expire on June 30th, 2021.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Annual reappointments of Cultural Council.
I move that the Board of Selectmen appoint Christine Downing, Francis Fleming, and Laura Kozacek as members of the Cultural Council for terms to expire on June 30th, 2023.
Seconded.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion here? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Annual reappointments of Insurance Committee.
I move that the Selectmen appoint Russell Daly as a member of the Insurance Committee for a term to expire on June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Further discussion?
Yeah, but we still have Lori McDonald, and is she still on?
Yes,
this
they just
committee?
aren't up this time
Okay,
around.
got
Just
it,
Mr.
got it.
Daly's up.
Okay, thank
Very
you.
good. I'll probably see Russ on my way home tonight. He's my neighbor, so that's fine. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. Annual reappointment of the MAPC representative. Is there a motion?
So, I'll make the motion, but I'm confused about this. Okay, move that the board appoint Edward Hand Jr. as the MAPC representative for a term to expire on June 30th, 2022.
Is he going to continue in that,
He's
being off
not
the
running
planning?
for the planning board again, so why would he be?
He could still be a
He
representative,
expressed interest in it. Mr. Tar was the representative for many years, even
okay.
after he stepped off the planning board.
But wouldn't we want to leave the opportunity open for someone on the planning board to be that representative? And
Totally
give-
up to the board.
I mean, I'd like to offer that as an option to the planning board before
Has
appointing.
the planning board opined on this?
Yeah.
Have they said anything? I mean, if they're fine with it, I mean,
There hasn't been, to my knowledge, any discussion on it.
Before we appoint him for, until 2022. It just seems
Sure,
like.
we can check in with them, and actually, we'll check in right after the election
Okay.
with them. And
Yeah,
then,
I think
address
that'd
it
be a
on the
good idea.
18th.
Do you want to
Yeah.
put that off?
Yep.
So we need to vote on this because we did make a motion, correct? We can't leave a motion open?
You just pass on. You can pass over it. That's fine.
Okay. We'll pass on that. All right, so that takes care of all of that stuff. Let's go to year-end transfers. Who pulled the short straw? Oh, this isn't too bad.
I move that the Board of Selectmen approve and ask that the chairperson to sign the following year-end transfers. $366.01 from training and development to in-service training, $270 from vehicle licenses to in-service training, $532.06 from jumpsuit/safety equipment and radios to in-service training, $6,000 from town accountant salary to building/police station, $5,000 from town accountant salary to HR operating expenses, and $10,000 from town accountant salary to general fund labor reserve.
Further
Second.
motion been made and seconded. Further discussion on this one?
Mitch, what are HR operating expenses?
That's the account that I manage for the HR department. That's where we charge some of our special projects. So that's where we charge our any investigators that we retain for
Got
any
it.
issues that come up.
Okay, thank you.
Perfect. Anything else? No. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries 3-0. We did it, and you made it. Building study is going to be on the 18th, correct?
Yes, it'll be 18th
18th and 20.
25th.
We're going to split that one?
Correct.
So that's one that was put off. Any unanticipated business or announcements?
Nope.
Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion been made and seconded. Further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Thank you.